Okay, so the first thing you need to determine is this an SSA? Right? Meaning, honestly, it's just pair plus one side. Do you have a pair and another side? SSA. All right? If it is SSA, then I would ask right away, is the one angle that you're given, is that obtuse? Okay? If it is obtuse, you've got two choices. It will first and foremost look like this. Okay, your diagram looks like this. You have your rod and your string. And then you've got two choices. Two conclusions you can draw. That's it. Like it just really splices into two. If the string is greater than the rod, you got one triangle. Sorry, can you see that? I have to bend it back like that. If the string is less than or equal to the rod, you've got 0 triangles. So this would be your justification for that. Does that make sense? Obtuse, two options, 0 or 1. That's it. So I'm going to try to make them all line up at the ends here. That's what my goal is with this one. The next one is, I'm just going to go arrow down here. If it's acute one, there you go. Right? Then obviously the only angle given is here. Okay? This would be the angle that you put in. Okay? This is your rod, this is your string. And then the first option will be if the string is greater than the rod, you've got one triangle. This is your justification. However, if the string is shorter than or equal to the rod, you need to find height. You need to find the height, and you go rod times sine of the only angle that is there. And then how many choices do you have at that point? You've got 3 choices from there. Choice number 1, the string is shorter than the height. 0 triangles, no solution. If the string is exactly equal to the height, you've got 1 right triangle. It's one solution, but in particular, 1 right triangle. And the last one, if the string is bigger than the height, you've got 2 triangles. This is the more peculiar case here. What? 2 triangles, 2 solutions? Yes, there's 2 possible solutions. So I think this is worth boxing in. And then you would, in your justification, obviously this would be part of it. If you go down this road, this would be part of it in conjunction with one of these here. Okay. So my goal was to have them all the scenarios lined up here. Scratch maybe, I don't know. But you're going to have to practice these, right? So is it an SSA? Meaning, do you have a pair and a side? If it's a graph, it's easy. If it's just letters, you're looking for capital and lowercase, right? That means that it's a pair. And then one more side. It's SSA. If you don't see it right away, sketch it. you'll see it at that point. Pair and a side, pair and a side. If it's pair and another angle, it's not SSA. If it's all three sides, definitely not SSA, right? It's side, 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 that's cosine law. So anything that isn't SSA, one triangle, one solution, we don't bother with this at all, okay? This is called the ambiguous case. I'm going to write it down at the top. Ambiguous, when someone is ambiguous, they're not being clear, right? They're like, are you meaning this or that? Like, what are you trying to say? And so that's why we have to develop this. I think this is too big, honestly, but I kind of did this so you can actually see it. But if I were you, I would probably find a way to compress it even more. Because it's not going to happen all the time, but if it does show up, I'm pretty sure you would want this, right? Otherwise, I don't know if you would remember all of this. So obtuse, two choices, string greater, string less than or equal to. So let's say these are exactly the same, still zero triangles, right? No solution. If it's acute, you set it up like this. And then before you even bother with the height, if the string is greater than the rod, boom, one triangle, done. Don't bother with the height. Right? Then you would go down this route. However, if the string is less than or equal to the rod, right? So if they're the same, or if this is even shorter, you have to go with the height and then make further, one of these is going to be your answer, right? One of these three. So in total, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different branches. Not really, because honestly, it's either obtuse, 2 options, or acute, you've got 4 options. That's how I see it, but technically there's 6 in total that we could possibly amount to. Maybe, I don't know if you want to do this, maybe let me do this first, but this is the height here. That would be, I find that if you draw that in here, you might be tempted to find the height right away, and that's not necessary. Like with obtuse, there's no height whatsoever. It's only down this path where you find the height. So I guess I'm just going to say compare it with the height here. That's up to you. I hope this helps. We're good? We'll give it a try. Don't ever have a senior crush. Do not solve, right? Just figure out how many solutions there are. First of all, check if it's SSA. Triangle RST, R, another R, so that's a pair, plus another side. Okay? Therefore, this is an SSA for sure. And in particular, it's obtuse, because the only angle given is bigger than 90. So you should have a diagram that looks like this. And so, okay, I want to address the letters, because it might be an issue later. So R, we know the only angle is going to come in here. We're going to force that to happen, which means that lowercase r is going to be here, right? Side R. The other side that you're given, you're listening to this, right? We're going to force this one to be over here. That is side S, correct? So where would angle S be? It would technically be over here if it is in fact possible to make a triangle. So the side length that you decide to put here, which is side S, tells us that this is angle S, which means T, where would T be? It would be up here for that reason. So you kind of work a little bit backwards, because we want it to look like this. So we're doing whatever we can to make it look like this. It's easier to do that. So, and then I would like you to have RS, or rod string. I will give you a mark for this diagram as is with the numbers. Okay, you get a mark for that. And then another mark for justification. So we look at string and rod. Okay, that's the comparison here. We look at the numbers. And the string is greater than the rod. Therefore, one triangle. Okay. That is going to be another mark. If you have the correct justification and the correct conclusion, you get another mark. So 2 marks for A. All right? Next, triangle XYZ. Remember, they're not all SSA. So this is angle X, side x, so we definitely have a pair, and we have another side. Okay, so we know this is SSA. And the only angle given is less than 90, so this is acute. This is an acute case. So I'm going to draw my triangle like this. And obviously x is going to be here because the 50 degree I want there. 5.2 is going to go over here. Z is going to go over here, side Z, which means that technically this would be angle Z, and therefore this has to be angle Y up here. More about that later on. I'm not too picky about that today. You get a mark for having this correctly drawn. And then you have to ask yourself, string and rod, compare those two. This is your rod, this is your string. I noticed that the string is shorter than the rod. Okay? So you must find the height now to continue to further come up with your final conclusion. So you got to go 7.1, which is the rod, times sine of 50. Don't have the key in front of me, so I'll just quickly run this through here. This is 5.44. Okay, 5.44 centimeters. So now you ask, between the string and the height, I notice that my string is shorter, right? Is shorter than the height. Therefore, 0 triangles, or you can say no solution. Either one is fine. If you were to attempt to solve this one, you would get a math error almost right away. You would try to solve it, because if you have this side, right, you can solve for angle Z, you would get a math error. That's another indicator that it's not possible, okay? Why would you even give us that if it's not possible? I know. That's part of the curriculum, okay? ABC, this is A and another side, SSA, and this is acute. So we have one of these. This is 74. Across from it is 28 centimeters. This is 28.9 centimeters. You get a mark for that. Sorry, did I give you the marks for this one? So I'll give you one here. I think I'm going to give you one today for this part, like figuring out that the string is shorter than the rod and finding the height, and another mark for actually coming up with how many solutions. Because to me, right, the justification is important here, and your conclusion. So 3 marks for part B. Okay. Next, 1 mark for diagram. I have to compare string and rod. So this is your rod, this is your string. Please make sure you do this, because otherwise you have to use the letters that are there. Okay. But if you do this, we're fine. I noticed that's slightly shorter, but it is shorter. I must find the height. So it's 28.9 times sine of 74. $27.78, yeah, thank you. 27.78 centimeters. Now you say string and height, you compare that. And I notice that my string is slightly longer than the height. Okay? Therefore, 2 solutions, right? 2 triangles, 2 solutions. Okay? So I give you 1 mark for this, 1 mark for finding the height and saying that string is shorter, and another mark for actually concluding how many triangles are there. So that makes this page worth 8, right? 3, 3, and 2. So we have 8 marks here. You're the teacher today, remember? That's backside. Yes. So we've got a 1, a 0, and a 2. Okay. Let's see. This one is probably going to be a 2. I'm just guessing here. RST. Oh, okay. One of these 2-letter things. Determinate unknown. So when you have one of these, it's a good practice. So what I would do is this. I would just go ahead and draw my triangle first and foremost. Just go RST. Okay? Angle R is 65. RS is this one, is 4.3 millimeters. And ST is 4. This one just happens to work out perfectly. Like, this is actually how we would want it. If it hadn't been, like if for whatever reason your angle is here, then I would redraw it and force everything to look like your string and your rod, okay? And maybe that it won't happen very often, but if that happens, You know this is a pair and another side, so we know it's SSA. We know it's acute. So technically I'm going to say, well, it says SSA, so I can't close it because I'm actually not sure if there's a triangle happening here. Okay? RS, which is, I know, you're going to say, Mr. Dirksen, that contradicts, so I'm going to go rod, string, just to make sure I'm not mixing up letters, right? Because this should be side S in this case. So just be careful there. We know that the string is shorter than the rod. Surprise, surprise, right? 4.3 times sine of 65. 2 point what? 3.19. 90. I gotta get my hearing checked. There you go. So you get 1 mark for this, 1 mark for the diagram, and then you'll get 1 more mark here. I notice that my string is slightly bigger than the height. Therefore, 2 triangles, okay? So you get another mark for that. Not a big deal if you use S and R, but I would say, I would caution there to not mix them up. So 3 marks for the back side here, and we've got 8, so that is 11, right? 11 total here. Make sure your first and last name is on there, and we'll continue with